Okay. Welcome back, hooligans. So this half of the room just lost power, but we're back now. We're back now. We still haven't missed the press briefing. So if anything, we got 2 notifications sent out because of this. So we'll just take it as a win. Make sure you rack up those likes. We're gonna get started here in a second. I'll go over the schedule all over again since we're starting a new video. Welcome back, hooligans. Edward, feds are in the chat. Oh yeah, every day, just to see little old me. Hopefully we don't lose power again. What's up, Brandon? Happy freedom. All right, we'll wait for more hooligans to get into the chat and stuff before we go over the schedule again. I can't believe that. I don't remember what I was saying. Just everything went dark. And it's nice outside. It's actually really nice outside, so I have no idea what's going on. Oh, I appreciate you, Adrian. Alright, once again, the schedule is any moment now. KJP will be stepping on stage. She is 43 minutes late. At 2:30, we have Old Man Walter hosting an SBA Women's Business Summit. We'll be starting off the videos with one titled Parts of Twitter Source Code Leaked Online. Then we have a video that is titled Cop Killer Website Accused of Placing Bounties on Officers. And then we have a video that is titled Nashville Elementary School Shooting Reported to be Mass Casualty Event. The shooter is dead. Then on the non-YouTube platforms, we have a Tucker Carlson video that discusses strategy and effectiveness of creating crises. And then we will be wrapping things up on the non-YouTube platforms with a video talking about Elon Musk's intent to build a utopia worker town. And that is what is on the schedule today. Give me a second to read through all the chats, make sure we're back up everywhere, and then we'll go ahead and get KJP on the screen. JB, did a train derail into your house? Nah, I don't know what's going on. I don't know what's going on. It's kind of weirded me out because the breaker box is right here. So I'm trying to figure out, like, how is the power going on and off without anybody messing with the breakers? And why is it like sections of my house? I don't know, it's weird. Sarge Cookie, stream won't load. Oh my goodness. I don't know why. I don't know why that would be. I think things are all right. Matt, you got to the point of saying Elon City and went dead. Oh, yeah. I don't know. They were in the video. They refer to it as like the coal miner towns, but I don't know anything about that stuff. But the locals there are saying that it's not good that Elon building a city specifically for employees to work at his businesses won't end well. What's up, PJ? Happy freedom. What's up, everyone on the JeffMAC Live YouTube channel? What's up, Daryl? Yeah, got to start her over again. That's all right. That's all right. These things happen. What's up, Snooks? What's up, everyone on Twitch? What's up, Tom? What's up, Grey Wolf? Hearing like clicking and popping. I'm hoping we don't have fire in the walls. I'm really surprised nobody's knocked on my door yet, because I live in an apartment building. What's up, Salty Ragu? What's up, everyone on Odyssey? Alright, we're back on Rumble. I wasn't sure. Serum. Jeff gets his electric from his pet unicorn. Klaus Daniels isn't quite a unicorn. He might be a little flamboyant at times, but no, he doesn't go full-blown toaster mode. I'd like to blame it on him. I'd like to say he kicked the cord or something, but I'm not exactly sure what happened there. What's up, everyone on Rumble? Alright, I think we're good to go. Right now, this is the White House Press Briefing screen. I don't know what KJP is doing. She's 47 minutes late. She's got to get her lies in order. Shuffle her stack of papers around with all the answers to all the questions that have been previously screened. I wonder if Simon will be there today, or if he's just totally banned now. Oh wow, it reset all my stuff. The date's wrong and everything. Well, she's got a few minutes to get on stage. If she takes too long, we'll just move forward. CC, yeah, I'm not sure what's going on. Kevin, that's what I said. Watch out for fire. Yeah, because I ain't got renter's insurance. So I'll be trying to carry my computer out of the house and stuff. All that stuff they tell you not to do. Like when you're growing up, you know, and they're like, oh, if there's a fire, you just leave everything behind. I will not. I will not. I will be carrying all my shit out of the house or die trying. Ah, man, I just blew the monetization in this video. I wrote customer service for YouTube because I was telling them that they were shadow banning me and they're unsubscribing people and all this other stuff. And they told me they would have the legal team write me back. That I don't exactly know what that means, but they ended the chat. They refused to say anything else to me, and they said that they will have their legal team write me back. So we'll see how that goes. Prissy, renter's insurance is cheap and so worth it. Yeah, that's what I keep getting told, but I don't know. We'll see. Car insurance is not cheap, and I don't know how that's going to affect renter's insurance. Because like in Michigan, we have the highest health premiums in the country. So to have the lowest form of car insurance is like $160 a month, and you're not covered by anything. And so with that being the way it is, I've been nervous about getting renter's insurance. I can't afford more bills, like not even kind of, sort of. So you say, well, I'd do it if it was $5 a year. But the way things are here in Michigan, it'd be $205, and it wouldn't cover anything. It would just be so I could have a little piece of paper saying I have insurance, because stuff here in Michigan sucks. Be happy. Wish Elon would buy Google and YouTube. I kind of do too. I found out on Saturday that Rumble will delete your comments in the chat if you say the F word. And I did not know that was happening. I've been saying for a while that Rumble's community guidelines is almost identical to YouTube, but they don't enforce them or something. Not yet, they don't. But in the chat, and I've never seen this before, but I was spelling out FJB because someone put FJB, and I was like, well, we're on a free speech platform. We should just say it. And I went to say it, and nobody responded, and I refreshed the page, and my comment was gone. And so then I just typed the F word out, and I refreshed the page, and it was gone. So you cannot say the F word on Rumble, but you can say it on Odyssey. You can say it on JeffMAClive.com. So I don't know. I don't know if that's some symptoms of what's to come or what. I'll check it out, CC. Thanks for letting me know. What's up, Sam? Happy freedom. Mr. Beansy Beans, it's your birthday today? Well, happy birthday. I hope today is awesome for you. Thanks for joining us on your birthday. Yes, Salty Ragu, the F word. F is for feelings. It's like Sesame Street. Can we still say Sesame Street, or is that racist? I can't remember. I remember they banned Sesame Street for a minute there. I can't remember why, though. It was either misinformation or racism. Maybe it was something else. I don't know. I can't remember. Softies cry so hard anymore. Can't keep track of all their feelings. Everybody on Rumble guessing the F word. Who knows? Who knows? Well, I'm tired of waiting on KJP, so I think we're going to move forward. We'll come back when she decides to come to work. So we're going to cover this first video titled Parts of Twitter Source Code Leaked Online. Mouse is failing. I haven't even had this mouse. I don't even think I've had it a whole month yet. It's already taking a crap. I got strong little hands. Let's break this little mouse and my Xbox controller. I gotta buy a new Xbox controller every 3 months because I just wreck those joysticks. I got strong thumbs. Yeah, I don't know what to say about that. That's what she said. Let's get her started, hooligans. Oh, okay. The White House Press Briefings is gonna start. That's okay. We're gonna watch this anyways.
Parts of Twitter's source code have been leaked online. That's according to court filings first reported by the New York Times. The source code is the software that powers the company's online presence. Bits of it were reportedly posted on GitHub. That's a Microsoft-owned platform for sharing code for software development. The excerpts were shared by a user called Free Speech Enthusiast. GitHub says it took down the relevant posts on Friday at Twitter's request. The social network has now asked a court to order GitHub to produce identifying information for Free Speech Enthusiast. GitHub didn't respond when asked by Reuters whether it had complied or how long the code had been publicly available. It's all just the latest headache for Twitter following its takeover by Tesla billionaire Elon Musk. Weekend reports by The Information say he has now put a valuation of around $20 billion on the company. That's less than half the $44 billion he paid to acquire it only a few months ago.
Just in time. Just in time.
Good afternoon, everyone. Happy Monday.
You can't swear on YouTube anymore, so now I'm just censoring myself.
We're seeing
hardcore.
the heartbreaking news of another shooting of innocent school children, this time in Nashville, Tennessee. The president has been briefed on this situation, and our team is in contact with DOJ and local officials about what is known so far. We want to express the president's appreciation for the first responders and prayers for all the families affected by this shooting. While we don't know yet all the details in this latest tragic shooting, we know that too often our schools and communities are being devastated by gun violence. Schools should be safe spaces for our kids to grow and learn, and for our educators to teach. As you all know, President Biden has taken more action than any president in history on gun safety, from nearly two dozen actions, including the executive order he just signed last month, or this month, pardon me, to the Bipartisan Safer Communities Act legislation he signed into law after the tragedies in Uvalde and Buffalo. He also believes it's not enough. We must do more. And he wants Congress to act, because enough is enough. In his State of the Union, the president called on Congress to do something to stop the epidemic of gun violence, tearing families apart, tearing communities apart. How many more children have to be murdered before Republicans in Congress will step up and act to pass the assault weapons ban, to close loopholes in our background check system, or to require the safe storage of guns. We need to do something. Once again, the president calls on Congress to do something before another child is senselessly killed in a preventable act of gun violence. Again, we need to do something. I also wanted to say a few words about the deadly tornadoes that tore through Mississippi on Friday night. As the president said in a statement over the weekend, he and the First Lady are praying for those who lost loved ones in these tornadoes. To that end, President Biden approved an expedited major disaster declaration for Mississippi early Sunday morning and ordered federal funding be made available to support emergency response efforts in the areas affected by the severe storms. Secretary Mayorkas and FEMA Administrator Dion Criswell were also on the ground yesterday to assess the damage, survey emergency response efforts, and meet with Governor Reeves and other state and local officials. We remain committed to doing everything we can to help those impacted by these storms and help them recover. Tomorrow, President Biden will travel to Durham, North Carolina to kick off the Investing in America tour with a visit to Wolfspeed, a manufacturer of semiconductor chips that is investing $5 billion to expand their North Carolina operations and create 1,800 good-paying jobs right here at home. Over the next 3 weeks of this tour, the President, Vice President, First Lady, Second Gentleman, and members of the Cabinet will fan out over 20 states across the country to visit communities benefiting from Investing in America agenda. This includes places that are seeing new and expanded manufacturing facilities and creating new jobs thanks to the Inflation Reduction Act and CHIPS and Science Act, groundbreakings of new infrastructure projects funded by the bipartisan infrastructure law, and small businesses that stayed afloat or started because of help from the American Rescue Plan. They'll highlight not only the impact of the country of President's economic agenda in these communities, but also what's at stake if MAGA Republicans in Congress get their way and repeal the Inflation Reduction Act.
Make America
hike
great
taxes
again
on hardworking families and slash funding for manufacturing, innovation, and research. As the president likes to say, budgets are a statement of values. That's why his budget cuts taxes for working people and families with children by almost $800 billion. And it pays for that by asking the super wealthy and large corporations to pay their fair share, all while not raising taxes at all for anyone making less than $400,000 per year. Tax proposals for MAGA House Republicans look very different. They want to add over $3 trillion to the debt, with giveaways skewed to the wealthy and large corporations. And even with those huge tax cuts, they're also advancing proposals that would raise taxes for middle-class families, hardworking Americans, and seniors. Now they've even suggested they won't release a budget so they can hide how much of their deep and harmful program cuts are just paying for their tax cuts. That's irresponsible and not supported at all by the American people. And while Republicans in Congress are pushing for tax breaks for ultra-wealthy and large corporations, they're also introducing measures to deny millions of their own middle-class constituents from getting the student debt relief they need and deserve. We're talking about more than 2.1 million borrowers who have applied for student debt relief in Texas, more than 380,000 borrowers in Louisiana, more than 250,000 borrowers in Iowa. These are hardworking borrowers who, for the most part, make less than $75,000 a year. They're asking for a little extra breathing room as they prepare for loan payments to restart. And how are their Republicans elected officials responding? They're bent on denying middle-class families the relief they need, while at the same time slashing Pell Grants to provide a $3 trillion tax giveaway to the ultra-wealthy and corporations. These are the same Republican officials who voted to forgive hundreds of thousands of dollars in PPP loans for businesses. Some even had their own loans forgiven, as you've heard the president speak to many.
Why is she emphasizing so hard on words? Does that make them matter more? She's like
for the middle
jumping. She's thrusting these words out of her face.
Years in his presidency. The president has also made clear he will veto H.R. 1, another bill that House Republicans have put forward to drive energy costs up for middle-class families, pad the pockets of big oil companies, and endanger the health and safety of all Americans. H.R. 1 would double the cost of energy efficiency upgrades that families need to reduce household bills. It would repeal key provisions of the Inflation Reduction Act to cut energy costs and boost economic development. It would eliminate pollution control requirements that prohibit big companies from polluting the air we breathe. And it will allow petroleum refineries that use hydrofluoric acid, a highly toxic chemical known to cause severe burns, eye damage, declassification of bones, to avoid any requirements to consider safer alternative. It is no wonder the bill was endorsed by big oil companies. And with that, Amr, thank you for your patience.
Of course. On Nashville, you pointed to last year's bipartisan reforms, as well as alluded to the executive actions, I think, of just a few weeks ago. And then you also pointed it's not a panacea, but is there any disappointment from the administration that these efforts haven't had more of effect on lessening the scourge of terrible violence?
Well, I don't have the data in front of me on what the president's executive action has been able to do. Clearly, those are actions that are that he was able to do on the federal level. But the president has been very clear. We need to take more action. We actually need to ban assault weapons. We need to take more action.
Assault weapons? Those assault weapons?
And we've been very clear about that. The president's going to continue to be consistent. He mentioned that at the State of the Union when he had an opportunity to just not speak in front of Congress, but also speak in front of the American people. We have to do more. The president has done almost as much as he can from the federal level to show how important this is to him. And this is something that he has been working on since he was senator. Right, 30 years ago, when the first assault ban weapons passed, it was because of the work, partially of then Senator Biden. So again, he's going to continue to call on Congress to act. This is, we can't.
Donald thronging those words. I know she's got a throng of words that just don't mean anything.
Kids dead.
3 kids and 3 adults.
And so this cannot be happening. Our administrators or educators their lives can't be put on the line here when they're going to teach our kids. And the president's going to continue to speak out, and Congress needs to act.
If I could just ask about, in Israel, before you got out here, Prime Minister Netanyahu announced his decision to delay action on the judicial overhaul until the next parliament session. One, just generally, do you have any reaction? And two, does delaying meet the administration's concerns on consensus, calls for consensus and compromise?
As you just mentioned, Amr, right before I came out, we heard from the Prime Minister of Israel. I do have a couple of things to say about his remarks. So we welcome this announcement as an opportunity to create additional time and space for compromise. Compromise is precisely what we have been calling for, and we continue to strongly urge Israeli leaders to find a compromise as soon as possible. We believe that it is the best path forward for Israel and all of its citizens to find this compromise. Democratic societies are strengthened by checks and balances, and fundamental changes to a democratic system should be pursued with the broadest possible base of popular support. And so that's what we're going to continue to call for.
Will we see the president address this latest school shooting in Nashville?
So I believe he will be addressing it before his remarks.
Words are hard.
His remarks today about 2:30. So you'll hear directly from the president. So the answer there is yes.
Okay, and you spoke about the.
Why does she keep sticking her tongue out?
From, the president of the White House for Congress to act on gun violence, but here we are.
That's what Queen Latifah used to look like in the 90s.
What does the White House say to American people who are feeling hopeless right now, that this, and in shock that this is happening once again?
We say that, yes, we agree. This is unacceptable. What we're seeing today, what we're seeing in schools and communities across this country is unacceptable. Our children should be able to go to school feeling safe, feeling protected. People should be able to go to grocery stores feeling safe. And what
Blink, blink.
is devastating, is heartbreaking for any American, any parent across the country, or any American. And so that's why this president has been very clear from day one. He is going to continue to
Super
fight
clear.
for those communities. That's why he did a historic amount of executive orders. From here, from this White House, he was able to sign executive orders that hopefully will make some difference at the federal level, but clearly there is more work to do, and Congress, and this is legislative work that Congress needs to act on. So yes, you're going to continue to hear from this president. He's going to be speak about this very loud and clear. And of course, he was proud to sign the legislation, the Bipartisan Safer Communities Act, just in the last, as we saw last year, in the last Congress, and that was something we hadn't seen in 30 years, and we believe a lot of that is because of this work that this president has done. And he has done this not just the last 2 years, but over his career. So we need to see more. And it is devastating. Of course, our hearts go out to families across the country that have lost loved ones, but the president...
But you want to use it as some sort of political agenda. Yeah, we got that.
Can you just walk us through quickly what the weekend was like for President Biden, when he got the alerts and when he was updated?
Yes, I do have. I can walk through some of that with you all. So we're continue to closely coordinate with our state and federal partners in response to the deadly storm that hit Mississippi. On Saturday, the president held separate calls with Mississippi Governor Tate Reeves, along with Senators Roger Wicker and Cindy Hyde-Smith and Congressman Benny Thompson,
Congressman
of Mississippi, to express his condolences for the lives lost and damage resulting from the tornadoes and extreme weather that impacted Mississippi overnight. On Sunday, President Biden approved a disaster declaration for
Yeah, you need to ban those assault tornadoes.
state, tribal, and local.
You need to get them out of there.
Affected by
Should be able to go get groceries safe, remember?
Because of his actions, the federal funding available to those infected individual will go to counties like Carroll, Humphreys, Monroe.
I don't know what the sign language lady was doing. She's over here doing some weird stuff with her fingers.
FEMA Administrator Deanne Criswell and DHS Secretary Mayorkas traveled to Mississippi to survey the damage and meet with federal, state, and local officials. And so the president, again, will continue to be updated as over the next couple of days. And so this is something that we are taking very seriously.
Do you plan to visit at all in Mississippi?
I don't have any trip. We don't have a trip to preview at this time.
Thank you.
Thanks, Karine. Does the White House have any additional executive orders in the pipeline on guns, given the realities of the...
She just answered the question before the question was asked, and then just moved on to this thumb of a guy.
Anything to preview at this time on any additional executive orders? As you know, earlier this month, while we were out west, I think you may have traveled with us. I can't remember. It felt like ages ago at this point. The president was able to announce an additional executive order, but we've taken historic actions. You know this, Jeff. I know you've covered this. The first year.
Don't tell me what I've covered.
Other president has, and so clearly we have taken this seriously. But again, we need legislative action.
She keeps jerking her head around to throw them lies out of her face.
Are U.S. regulators and is the administration looking at expanding emergency lending facilities for banks?
This guy's so ugly. He's got to tie stakes around his neck just to get the dogs to play with him.
Or more time to shore up its balance sheet?
So I don't have anything new to share. Something the federal regulators.
That's a #1 hit right there.
That's something that they would be focusing on. What I will say more broadly about regional banks and the actions that could potentially be taken, as Chair Powell recently said, our banking system is sound and resilient with strong capital liquidity. When we've taken decisive and forceful actions to strengthen the public confidence, you've heard me say that many times from here. That was something that was important for the president to do, and also give bank access to resources to meet those depositors' demand. And so, look.
Trying to figure out what's going on with her outfit. It's like all folded over right here, but it's only on the one side. Her necklace is sideways.
10 days or so.
She was getting roughed up before she stepped out on stage.
Beyond that, as it relates to regional banks or First Republic, but again, the actions that we have taken has certainly, we have seen them work, and we want to continue to give Americans confidence, but also make sure that depositors get what they need as well, the resources that they need.
Just following up on the idea of hopelessness, which I think all parents feel in a pretty visceral manner on days like today, does the President believe that there is an actual legislative solution to this, or a solution that the government can bring, given kind of culturally where the U.S. is on this issue and political divides, all of these things put together? Is there an actual solution here?
Well, the President, as you've heard him say many times before, he's an optimist and he's a fighter. And you have seen that from
He fights those staircases. Fights to get up and down them. Fights riding a bicycle. Yeah, he be fighting all right. Fights to find the side door to the White House.
On gun violence, to deal with gun violence in 30 years. That's because of this leadership.
He's a fighter all right. Fights not to crap his pants every 5 minutes.
Again, we have to fight at the same time. But we also have to call out what is unacceptable. And what we continue to see in these communities is unacceptable. And, you know, I know, Phil, you're a dad. I'm a parent as well, and what...
Why does she keep saying that?
See?
She just become a parent? I heard that she went and bought a child.
Devastating. It is devastating.
I was trying to figure it out the other day, because I know she just loves eating tacos. So I'm like, how did you get a kid? But she just went and purchased one.
Yeah, sure.
Back on Israel real quick. It's a domestic issue. There's a personal relationship between the President and the Prime Minister, obviously the dynamics between the U.S. and Israel. How does the President view his role when it comes to what's been happening in Israel the last few months?
Make sure your hooligans are racking those likes up. Let's get this chat filled.
I believe March 19th, he spoke to the Prime Minister. They had a very honest conversation. We gave a readout
A very honest conversation. I doubt that.
Conversation, and you saw
Maybe intimate.
our NSC spokesperson just yesterday about the situation that we have been seeing, especially on this particular issue of the judicial court. And, you know, when he discussed this with the Prime Minister, he said...
She's having a hard day today.
...always been and must remain a hallmark of the U.S.
Faded. Fighting gravity, I'm saying.
Close relationship. Democratic societies are strengthened by checks and balances, and fundamental changes to a democratic system should be pursued with the broadest possible base of popular support. That is what we all shared with you from that readout. So, you know, U.S. support for Israeli security and democracy remains ironclad. That is continuing to be the case. But we will always have those honest and frank conversations with our partners, with our friends as well. Go ahead.
Sticking that tongue out.
On banking, with SVB's sale to First Citizens, does the administration believe the worst of the banking crisis is now behind us?
So we welcome the news, which comes at no cost to taxpayers. This is a process run by the FDIC, as you know. And so, again, because of the decisive actions that we have seen from the banking, the regulators, and from our administration, the banking regulators, and also the Treasury Department, the banking system is safe. The Americans here can be confident, and we have seen deposits stabilize at regional banks throughout the country.
The Americans here. I like how she keeps trying to emphasize that it's not tax-paying money that's fixing this. Like, it's just magic money. It's coming from somewhere else. Thank you so much, big fella, for that $5 donation. I appreciate you. Thank you.
Unusual component in that the gunman is actually a woman, an adult woman has been identified now, 28 years old. Does the president have any expectation that when looking for a new way to talk about gun violence, we've been through Sandy Hook in the Obama years, we've been through Uvalde in this administration, looking for some way to have circumstances change how Americans feel about it. Tennessee is obviously a state with a gun culture as a part of its identity for many Tennesseans who live there and believe in a gun culture. Do you think there is any component of this, like having a female suspect, highly unusual, like in single-digit percentage of this, that could be a point for him to address to try to break through on a subject that has thus far not made change in the legislative realm?
So look, I know that the reporting on the shooting is still coming out, so I want to be very mindful and not get I've heard or watched those reportings as well before coming out, so just want to be very mindful to not get ahead of I'm sure there'll be
Of what?
They'll look into it.
Of your guys' agenda of how you're going to word all of this? You don't want the news to get out before old man Walter goes out there and says it's white rage that did it?
This is a priority for him, and he wants to save lives. He thinks it's important, clearly, to save lives, and he believes that more must be done. And that is something that you've heard from the president multiple times.
She said gun culture.
Has occurred.
You mean
But he's also
Americans?
continued to ask Congress to
American culture?
gun law reforms. That is something that must be done in the legislation, right, in the legislative branch. And so, and that's including requiring background checks on all gun sales, banning assault weapons and high-capacity magazine, and eliminating immunity for gun manufacturers who knowingly put weapons of war on the streets. And so those are things that they can do. Those are things that Congress can actually act on if they come together and take action. And so we can't, this is not something I want to do, and I'm sure this is not what all of you want to cover, is these types of shootings over and over and over again. This is certainly not what the president wants to keep talking about and giving condolences to families.
So you're not going to make it relevant to her specific question?
This is not.
Okay. Thank you so much, Thed Rock, for continuing the membership program for 16 months.
We can do.
You're officially a hooligan. I appreciate you. Thank you.
Because he wanted to make sure that we did everything that we can from the federal government. Even
She just did the turtle thing. She was like,
actions. So again, this is a sad day for our country, for the people of Nashville, and our hearts go out to them. Okay.
On the president's call for legislation, has he spoken to or will he be speaking to Republicans directly? Is he going to ask Republicans to come to the White House, trying to negotiate directly himself?
Well, we've had, I get the question, but we have been having conversations with congressional members for this past 2 years. I mean, this is conversations that we have had over and over and over, and will continue to have. So it's not going to stop today. It's going to continue, or it's not. It's not starting around this particular sad shooting.
she's got an attitude today. She needs to chill out.
Republicans about the
I'm
need
saying
for
what
things
I'm
like an
saying
assault
is
weapons ban?
I don't have anything to preview for you at this time or to lay down of a conversation that he's had recently. What I'm saying
We need Simon to yell across the room again. That would just really kick things off today.
over the last 2 years, there's a reason why this is a president that has taken historic actions on executive orders when it comes to gun violence, because he's taken this seriously. I don't have anything to read out to you at this time, but our office, the Office of Leg Affairs, the Domestic Policy Office, these are things that we have taken very, very seriously. I'm going to try and take a question from the back because I know Alex way back there.
Yeah, take it from the back.
With your FAA nominee and what you plan to do next. I mean, obviously there have been some high-profile incidents and people are concerned about the safety of our commercial aviation system. So what's next?
So FAA needs a confirmed administrator, period. Like, that's what they need. That's what the country and Americans deserve. Phil Washington had the right qualifications and experience for this role. A couple of things that you've heard me talk about and you've heard us talk about more broadly. He's led the Denver International Airport, one of the busiest airports in the world, managed large safety-focused transportation agencies, and served as command sergeant major in the military. This was a veteran of the military. This was a veteran. And, there were games that we played on, an onslaught of unfounded Republican attacks on Mr. Washington, on his service, his experience, and which irresponsibly delayed the process. So, including threatening unnecessary procedural hurdles on the Senate floor. That's what was happening. And so, Senate Republicans' month-long relentless campaign to sink the nomination of a qualified, again, military veteran. Our administration believes that his service in uniform is an asset. That should have been an asset. So again,
Lip smacking. I'm telling you, she's got an attitude today.
I'm grateful for the time he dedicated to this process and continued commitment to public service. But again, the FAA needs a confirmed administrator here. Christian, go ahead. I know.
Thanks. I wanted to ask about this SBA roundtable coming up. There's been critiques from Republicans that
Oh, Simon's there.
while you guys are addressing all this fraud that we saw during the pandemic with the small business programs, there isn't enough work being done to modernize the system so that this moves quickly and smoothly going forward and we don't have to do this backpicking process again. Do you have any response to that?
Yeah, I do. Look, America's small business economy is opening again, right? It's growing, and a lot of it is because of the work that this president has done this first 2 years. 10.5
That's not true at all.
applications. That
Old man Walter is supposed to be on stage in 9 minutes, so I bet she gets fleeing the scene here in just a moment.
Rescue plan.
Wonder if she's gonna call on Jacqui.
Handled COVID relief because of how we've handled making sure that we have an economy that grows from the middle up and the bottom up, middle out. We have seen this increase of people going out there trying to start small businesses. We have seen making sure that people don't get left behind. And this is because of SBA.
You didn't say that about Afghanistan.
And just a couple of things, CBA they have scaled up its use of technology and centered customer service and experience, increasing accessibility, streamlining processes, and delivering broad support across our programs. And because of that, they've been able to deliver on these historic outcomes. So the data shows that SBA has done the work because of this president's leadership to make sure that you see these small businesses growing. And a lot of that is from the beginning of the first couple of months that the president walked in, passing the American Rescue Plan, by the way, no Republican voted for. I know, we have to go. I'm going to take one more and try to go to the back here. Go ahead, John.
Thanks a lot, Karine. Any chance of the president reaching out to the Tennessee congressional delegation, predominantly Republican, in terms of trying to move legislation forward on the front of gun control, trying to, as you put it, move forward with meaningful gun control?
So, don't have anything to preview at this time, but again, this is our administration, when it comes to Office of Leg Affairs, when it comes to other White House offices, has taken this very seriously, have had multiple conversations with members of Congress about moving legislation forward to deal with this issue, and that's not going to end, that's just going to continue.
And separately, just one final thing on foreign affairs front, the plans that President Putin announced over the weekend to move tactical nukes into Belarus. What is the administration's reaction?
Look at Simon.
Just
disapproves of KJP all day.
Continue to monitor the implications. We have not seen any reason.
What's up, Sherry? Happy freedom.
Our own strategic nuclear posture, nor any indications that Russia is preparing to use nuclear weapon. And so, we remain committed to the collective defense of the NATO alliance, but we have not seen any reason right now to change or adjust our posture. All right, guys, I know we'll see you on the road tomorrow, and I'll be back on Wednesday. Thanks, everybody. Thank you.
Well, that went just about how I thought it would go. Waiting for old man Walter to get on stage now. Any moment, he'll be out here staggering. I didn't see any new live scheduled for the White House, so I don't think he's going to separate whatever he's going to say about the stuff going on in Nashville versus what he was already going to be talking about. So I think it's all going to be together on this. KJP did not want to talk about the fact that the shooter was a woman. She didn't want to say anything about that. She wanted to keep the focus on those assault weapons. Stupid. So stupid. And then went right into tornadoes. I don't know what those two things have to do with each other. Gotta ban those racist assault tornadoes. They'll get you. Big fella, she's so bad at her job. Yeah, she'd be terrible at any job the way she behaves. She couldn't wash dishes at McDonald's. I don't know. And then she's like jerking her head all around. It's not good for your neck. She's gonna have a hard day when she gets older. And then the last 2 or 3 press briefings, she's like, I have a kid, you have a kid, we have kids. Like, most of us didn't purchase our child though, so don't throw yourself in the boat with us. She thinks she's somebody special. Just reading through the chat really quick. Where is he supposed to be at? Oh, old man Walter, he's supposed to be at the White House. Free mine art, no more gun control. Yeah, what is gun laws doing? They're like, we need more laws. Well, what do you mean? Schools and hospitals and stuff are gun-free zones. So, what is more laws gonna do? What is that gonna do? It ain't gonna do nothing. It's not gonna do anything. I said on Twitter that I think teachers should be allowed to conceal carry. Oh man, just 200 comments, 300 comments of people crying hard. They're like, you expect teachers to be soldiers? They don't even make enough as teachers. We can't afford to pay them more to be soldiers. You guys are stupid. So stupid. That's your constitutional right. I bet they have guns at home. I bet they go target practicing on the weekends. I bet they conceal carry outside of work. Stupid and just dumb and soft at the same time. Don't ever go dumb and soft at the same time. It's not good for you. People were crying so hard about that stuff. And then they were like, well, they don't want to have to do something to the person causing havoc if it's one of their students. Okay, well, just stand there and be a target then. What do you want me to say? Like, it's so stupid. So stupid. We need to eliminate gun-free zones. It's unconstitutional. We shouldn't have gun-free zones. Anywhere in America should be a gun zone because we're allowed to have guns. People wouldn't target those areas if there was a potential chance that there would be some resistance. That's why they get targeted. Well, that and the agenda. Gray Wolf, gun control equals a steady hand. Right. A firm grip. Sound like the cat's about to kick the bucket. He's had enough of this. KJB trying to step on our rights. People are so quick to try and forfeit their rights. I seen a video, I think it was on Twitter. It was talking about, well, it was showing a protester saying that we need to get rid of assault weapons and we need to ban guns because there's no reasons that Americans need to have assault weapons and blah, blah, blah. And then they interviewed the next person. They said, you know, it's really funny that people used to march for our rights and now we have people marching to get rid of our rights. And it's true. It's true. We have people protesting, pushing the government agendas. It's so dumb. Paid actors, paid protesters, saying you need to take our rights away and you need to do it now. Stupid. Just couldn't be more dumb. We need you to oppress us now. We're not oppressed enough. Stupid. Well, if he don't wobble his self up on stage, we're gonna move along here. Oh, what just happened? Is this the live? This is pretty much what it's like to watch Old Man Walter anyways. It's about this right here. This is what goes on inside of his noggin. It's stroking out. Hold on, I'm gonna refresh the page and see if it affects it. Oh, better. Patrick, a assault rifle. Yeah. I don't know why they want those assault rifles so bad. They want them. I've been seeing people on TikTok creating makeshift weapons. That's the only platform where you could do that. Where you could come out with makeshift weapons and blow things up and stuff like that. ATF has entered the chat. Like, it's just, I don't know. People getting ready for whatever they think is coming. Well, I think we're gonna move forward. It'll be fine. It'll be fine. So, we're going to cover a video that's titled Cop Killer Website Accused of Placing Bounties on Officers. We'll come back to Old Man Walter in a second. Maybe he'll be on stage. Let's get her started, Hooligans.
A Los Angeles police union is taking legal action against the owner of an anti-police website. They want the site to be taken down for posting pictures of several officers while placing bounties on their heads. The move comes after thousands of LAPD officers had their personal information dumped online last week. This does include the identities of undercover officers. Jamie McBride is an LAPD detective and director of the Los Angeles Police Protective League. Jamie, thank you for being with us this morning. So tell us what this lawsuit is alleging and who's filing it.
Well, first of all, people need to understand that law enforcement is a very unique profession. There's individuals out there that want to hurt or kill you strictly because of your profession. And now you have a website on Twitter that is putting bounties on officers' heads because these photos were released. And I'll say this, if incompetence was a sport, Police Administrator Liz Rhodes would be a starting player on the varsity team. That's how reckless it was to release all these photos of officers. And one last thing here on this is, it's not just the undercover officers right now. When somebody goes through their 20 or 30-year career, there's officers that can go in and out of undercover capacities. So just because they're not undercover right now doesn't mean they won't be in 2 years or 10 years from now. So this is going to have a long-lasting effect on officer safety.
Right. I mean, you talk about the undercover officers, and I do want to get to that now since you've mentioned it. I mean, this is not only dangerous for them, but it's dangerous for their families as well, correct?
Yes, I had several officers reach out to me. They're very concerned for their safety and the safety of their families. I even had younger officers contact me and say they're thinking about leaving LAPD because they don't feel safe working for a department that is so reckless on releasing these photos. So this is going to have a big effect on recruitment because we're already understaffed by over 1,000 officers, and it's hard for us to get anybody to take the test to come on.
Miser, a website on Twitter? That's what I was wondering too.
So again, this is a very dangerous situation.
I don't know what Twitter has to do with this. They're talking about a website.
For doing this.
Okay, so you think there was obviously negligence against the LAPD. Will there be any pushback on that? Will they be held accountable for anything?
We have referred some of our undercover officers to some civil attorneys, and they're looking into filing a civil lawsuit against
the buffering.
The department, because it's put them and their family in jeopardy for having their photos out there for everybody to see. And a lot of these officers that work undercover work very sensitive investigations. They work the Mexican mafia, drug cartels, and now their photos out there for everybody. And even if that one website is taken down, the photos are out there on all kinds of websites now, because as we all know, when something's on the internet, it's never off the internet.
So the man behind the Killer Cop website is denying any wrongdoing, and here's how he's responding to the lawsuit against him. Quote, "It's malicious, it's retaliatory, it is vindictive and frivolous. Their motion is filed with lies. They are trying to silence my free speech. The truth cannot be retaliatory. It is First Amendment protected speech." Your reaction to that?
Well, again, when you put out a website putting bounties on people's heads saying they'll give $1,000 to kill a male officer and $2,000 to kill a female officer, that's not free speech. That's reckless behavior, and that's going to incite violence. Because you have people out there right now that are a little off center, and they're going to look at this and say, hey, let's go kill a cop and make some money.
Well, it's using an electronic device to make threats.
Lives at home in his 40s,
so that's a crime.
Who makes cereal for him in the morning. This is somebody that's not thinking straight.
The Twitter handle, it was deactivated, but the website is still up. Is there any way that can be brought down until...
So it's a website that was being promoted on Twitter.
Or is it just up until this is over?
You know what? We're trying to get all the sites shut down. Again, this stuff should have never been released. You know, we have a police administrator who just released all the photos, and this could have been very easily challenged in court by the police department by saying, hey, when somebody goes through their 20 or 30-year career, they can go in and out of undercover capacity, so it'd be a danger to their family and to them if their photos are released. But instead, they just released all the photos. So again, I don't think we're going to get all the sites shut down, because again, once it's on the internet, it's out there for everybody.
You know, Jamie, that brings me to another.
This guy looks like Stone Cold Steve Austin.
The undercover officers. Will there be any changes made with them, or are they just stuck doing what they're doing still, and with their pictures up there?
Yeah, you know what? This has never happened before in my 32-year career, so this is uncharted territory for all of us. You know, these officers are very dedicated to what they're doing in their investigations. They're just going to take precautions now and constantly look over their back on their way home from work. When they're out with their families, if somebody, you know, yells their name, they got to realize, is this a friend or is this a foe? They don't know. This is something we've never seen before, and in 32 years, it's probably the most reckless thing I've seen.
As if their job wasn't already difficult enough, now they have to doubly watch their back. That's horrible. Jamie McBride, thank you so much for your time this morning.
You know we're in a bad place when they got websites that are putting hits out on cops. This is not good. Look who decided to come to work today. Old man Walter making his way to the stage. Where's Jill Handler? She ain't there?
Well, good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to the East Room of the White House.
All the fake cheering and stuff.
We're launching SBA's second annual Women's Business Summit in the White House. Amazing to fill this White House with so many incredible entrepreneurs. I see you all, you are advocates. I see all you, and including our chairman of the Senate Small Business Committee, Senator Cardin. You know, thank you, President Biden, for hosting us. And thank you, Mr. President, for your unwavering commitment to small businesses. In fact, there's been a historic small business boom under your leadership.
Whoa.
And that's because from day one, President Biden has been a champion for American entrepreneurs, from the smallest of the small, initially left out of.
I'm gonna grab some coffee really quick. I might make it Irish after this.
To his American Rescue Plan, to the inventors, manufacturers, supply chain companies, and contractors seeing growth opportunities thanks to his historic investments in American infrastructure and clean energy. And to our Main Street job creators who are benefiting from legislation that lowers the costs of healthcare and prescription drugs for their workers. And he sees us. He knows women are leading the way as they continue to grow, innovate, compete, and lift up neighborhoods and communities across the nation. Which brings me to Natalie King. Natalie is the founder and CEO of Dunamis Clean Energy Partners, a multi-million-dollar manufacturing company with over 135 workers throughout Southeast Michigan. That is right, it's a big accomplishment. And she is helping to deliver our clean energy future. I was blown away when I first heard Natalie's story when I met her as a recipient of SBA's programs while I was celebrating Women's History Month last year in Detroit. And she launched Dunamis in 2012 as an energy efficiency firm, helping businesses use green energy to lower costs. But she saw the future and imagined the possibilities. So just 3 years after founding the business, she pivoted, and Dunamis began manufacturing LED lighting. And early last year, she announced they'd expand to produce electric vehicle charging stations as well.
Oh man, Walter throwing up the power fist for his Democratic buddies.
Imagining the possibilities for herself. She chose to start her business in her native Detroit. That's where she was born and raised, and because she wanted to give back and lift up her community, and she's doing just that. By the end of the year, Dunamis estimates they will create 100 new jobs and expects to double that to create 200 new jobs by 2025. And that's what happens when women lead. So everyone, welcome one of the entrepreneurial faces of the clean energy economy, Natalie King.
Hello, everyone. Good afternoon. Administrator Guzman, thank you so much for that beautiful introduction and for having me as at the second annual SBA Women's Business Summit. Again, my name is Natalie King, and I am the founder and CEO of Dunamis Clean Energy Partners and Dunamis Charge, which is an electric vehicle charging manufacturing company located right in the heart of the city of Detroit. And we are the first African-American woman-owned electric vehicle charger manufacturer in this world. Thank you. We currently employ over 135 workers, and we are on track to manufacture over 400,000 chargers by 2025.
She sounds so generic.
50 good-paying jobs, including charger technicians, material handlers, engineers, and much, much more. I started Dunamis in 2012, and because I believe that clean energy technology gives entrepreneurs a true opportunity to do good for our communities while being good at what we do. Our success would not have been possible without the support that we received, really critical support that we received, especially during COVID from the U.S. Small Business Administration, and it made it possible for us to maintain our workforce during the pandemic. And as a result of President Biden's strong commitment to supporting small businesses and his investments in clean energy and manufacturing, we are growing, we are innovating, and we are optimistic about our
You notice they don't ever have Elon on there? Tesla's been around since 2003. How come they don't talk about that? The factory itself produces energy instead of uses it. How come they don't have Elon on? Because he's too free?
I can say confidently, Mr. President, it is not written anywhere.
Old man Walter's got that look on his face when you show Granddad your new cell phone and he doesn't even know what he's looking at. That's him everywhere he goes, just lost.
Say that this country has a president that holds the same belief and who fights for small businesses that look like mine. So with that, it is my great honor and privilege to introduce to you the President of the United States, Mr. President Joe Biden.
Mr. Sniff Your Child himself, Old Man Walter.
My name is Joe Biden. I'm Dr. Joe Biden's husband. And I ate Jenny's ice cream, chocolate chip.
That young child.
I came down because I heard there was chocolate chip ice cream. By the way, I have a whole refrigerator full upstairs. You think I'm kidding?
Dig that hole.
Ben, how are you, pal? One of the best guys in the United States Congress, Ben Cardin. Folks, welcome to the White House. It's a delight to have you all here. And who are those good-looking kids back there? They're your kids?
What the hell?
Well, stand up, guys.
It's freaking me out.
Well, I want you to know, like you, I had two brothers, we were three in our family, three brothers and one sister. And my sister is smarter than all of us. Not a joke. She used to be 3 years younger than me. Now she's 23 years younger than me. Yeah. She managed every one of my campaigns for office, even back when I was in high school. We went to the same university 2 years apart. She graduated with honors, I graduated. And we had a simple rule in the family. Listen to Val. My sister Valerie is incredible. So guys, be nice to your sister. You're going to need her. You're going to need her. I promise. It's the same lineup. You're the oldest? Who's number 2? Number 2? Who's number 3? You twins? Are you guys twins? Okay. All right.
Getting a little bit too involved there, old man Walter. You need to back up.
Glad to see you all. Thanks for coming with Mom, okay? You got to take care of your mom. Dads are much harder to raise, but, you know. Before I begin to speak, the reason I spent a little time in the kids, I just want to speak very briefly about the school shooting in Nashville, Tennessee. You know, Ben and I have been doing this our whole careers, it seems. And it's just, it's sick. You know, we're still gathering the facts of what happened and why. And we do know that as of now, there are a number of people who did not make it, including children. It's heartbreaking, a family's worst nightmare. And I want to commend the police who responded incredibly swiftly, within minutes, to end the danger. We're monitoring the situation really closely, Ben, as you know, and we have to do more to stop gun violence. It's ripping our communities apart, ripping the soul of this nation, ripping at the very soul of the nation. And we have to do more to protect our schools so they aren't turned into prisons. You know, the shooter in this situation reportedly had 2 assault weapons and a pistol, 2 AK-47. So I call on Congress again to pass my assault weapons ban. It's about time that we begin to make some more progress, but there's more to learn. But I just wanted to send my concern and hearts out to so many parents out there.
They had 2 assault weapons, an AK-47 and a pistol.
Everyone. And
anything that's not a musket or a bow and arrow is an assault weapon now, or what?
You should focus on. You know, just like when in the military, when my son was in Iraq for a year, other places, there's so many members of the military coming back with post-traumatic stress after witnessing.
Salty Ginger, there was a school shooting in Nashville, Tennessee. We're going to cover it in a little bit. What's up, Shadow?
You should be focusing on their mental health as well. And so I'm grateful. Anyway, sorry to start off that way, but I couldn't begin without acknowledging what happened. And now I'm grateful all of you are joining us here today. Natalie, thank you for that introduction.
Why did he whisper that whole part and now he's yelling into the microphone?
Detroit, making change charges for electric vehicles in the Motor City.
Yeah. I don't know what you're talking about, old man Walter.
I want to welcome your son, Diop. Where's Diop?
Diop? New rapper in Detroit?
You got to be proud of your mom. You got to be proud of your mom. And thanks to folks like
she works real hard on her knees.
We're seeing pride coming back. You know, there's nothing that just sort of saps the pride of a city or a town when they lose a business, lose a significant employer. It just feels like you got your soul ripped out. But we're so many people, you're bringing so many people back. You're bringing back business all across America, not just in the East and West Coast. So look, SBA's Administrator Guzman, I want to thank you for everything you've done and for your team too, supporting small businesses across America. We're also joined, as I said, by Senator Cardin, the chair of the powerful Small Business Committee, and literally, not figuratively, a true champion of businesses everywhere. And by the way, integrity is a little finger that most people have in their whole body.
He's over there pointing that assault finger.
And most of all, thank all of you, small business owners and entrepreneurs who have joined us today. That includes 3 incredible panelists. Sarah started her business out of her apartment with $5,000 in a startup capital. And now she built it just a little old billion-dollar company. Oh.
Doing what?
As my mother would say, God love you, dear. Whoa.
Why is that funny?
Melissa began her business in a kitchen while working on Wall Street. Now it's the largest black-owned makeup company sold in Target stores all across America. And Powell combined her business training with her lifelong passion for dance and created an exercise platform that has been used in 2,500 cities around the world. And by the way, you were here a couple months ago performing with the dance company for Diwali celebration. You got it all, kid. You got it all. I'm not sure what's in the cards today about dancing. I'm not making any promises, but just know she can. And these women know what it takes to start a company out of nothing and build it into something that's consequential. And they know how many women out there have the talent, the skills, and the commitment to start successful businesses if they only had the opportunity. I used to have a friend who was a great basketball player, and his name was Pete McLaughlin. He used to say, you got to know how to know. You got to know how to know. And that's part of what the SBA is all about, letting people know how to know. Today, it's all about lifting up women entrepreneurs and making sure they have the support they need to succeed. The businesses represented in this room stretch across industries from restaurants to architectural firms to hardware stores, plus Jenny's splendid ice cream. And
by the way, guy Dub, is Biden's nose considered an assault weapon? He's got that assault sniffer.
I think I'm joking. If I were allowed to take you upstairs, I got a whole freezer full of Jenny's.
He's trying to take you upstairs.
Ice cream.
I'm going to show you his ice cream.
Public life, as long as I have, you're known for two things: chocolate chip ice cream and Ray-Ban sunglasses. But what the hell, Look, you're entrepreneurs, you're innovators, you're job creators, and small businesses are
This is what happens when Jill Handler's not around.
The glue in the heart and the soul of our communities. 12 million businesses across America are owned by women. 12 million. Small businesses like yours account for 40%. You account for 40% of the nation's GDP. You create 2/3 of all the new jobs, and you employ nearly half of all private sector workers. For an American economy is to be strong, it's going to have a strong small business base. It has to be strong. We learned that again during the pandemic. When I came into office, this economy was reeling. Small businesses were hurting. Literally, hundreds of thousands of small businesses had closed across the country. Millions of Americans, many of whom worked in small businesses, lost their jobs through no fault of their own. To jumpstart America's economic recovery, we needed to help the small businesses, and we needed to help them fast. So we got to work. I signed the American Rescue Plan. Since I took office, we've delivered more than $450 billion in emergency relief.
Million, trillions, billions, millions.
To help you pay your bills, to pay your workers, to keep your doors open. We gave additional support to more than 100,000 restaurants, more than 13,000 live entertainment venues, which were especially hard hit. And we powered historic assistance to 220,000 child care centers, 90% of which are owned and staffed by women. By keeping those centers open, millions of women keep their job. Working parents could go to work again, knowing their children were being cared for. It's constant. They're all connected. All this is closely connected. Today, thanks to actions like these, we've achieved the fastest, strongest, most equitable recovery in American history. We've created 12.4 million new jobs. That's more jobs.
Food Stamp Freddy, how drunk is he? It's hard to say.
And a majority of those jobs are held by women. Unemployment is near a 50-year low, and record number of people have applied to start new businesses. Nearly 10 million.
Just says false stuff, just back to back.
As all of you know, every time someone moves to start a new business, it's an act of hope.
You know why everybody's poor right now? Because the economy's doing so well. We created all these new jobs. That's why you're poor. That's why chicken is $13.
Women started nearly half of all the new business in the United States, up from less than a third having been started by them in 2019. Women-owned businesses like yours add $1.8 trillion to America's GDP every year, and that number grows. And now,
Ron, interesting, since the government doesn't create jobs. Yeah.
This administration runs a network of women's business centers across.
Bobby squinting. just gotta squint those eyes to get through that smell. It's so strong you could burn your retinas, change your eye color.
You gotta know how to know across all 50 states, Washington, D.C., and Puerto Rico as well. These are places where women who want to start or grow a small business can get free business counseling, apply for an SBA loan, and compete for federal contracts. Today, I'm announcing that we're expanding the network of women's business centers to 160 centers nationwide, the largest number of all of American history. Plus, through the American Rescue Plan, we're investing $10 billion to make capital available to small businesses. $10 billion is going to programs run by states and U.S. territories and tribal governments, which then are matched with public and private dollars, leveraging tens of billions more for small business. It's about leverage. This is vital because we know that plenty of companies with potential don't get off the ground or can't grow because they can't get the startup funds or venture capital. This can be a major barrier for women entrepreneurs. Last year, startups with all women teams received less than 2% of all the venture capital dollars. My administration, and in particular Vice President Harris, are working hard to change those numbers so more Americans with great ideas and strong plans can get the boost they need to launch successful businesses. Because by the way, it helps everybody. And then as we implement major pieces of legislation that I signed into law during the past 2 years, we're ensuring that women are fully at the table. And I mean that sincerely. From the historic bipartisan infrastructure law, rebuilding roads, bridges, water systems, high-speed internet, all across America.
You need to work on those rail systems.
$200 billion. If we're going to be the leading country in the world economically, we have to have a leading infrastructure in the world. And we rank near the bottom of major companies now. Countries, I should say. The Chips and Science Act.
Chips and Salsa Act.
People that's been investing hundreds of billions of dollars.
I might make tacos today.
To restore America's technological edge by manufacturing semiconductor chips. By the way, we invented those chips. Oh, we did. We, the United States of America. And then we got fat.
Ooh, everybody laughed, but they were supposed to clap.
Like a lot of
Nobody's making it out of there alive today.
Export jobs to get cheaper jobs and import product. Not anymore.
They don't know how to respond. They're all looking around at each other. What are we supposed to do?
By the way, for the first time, firms receiving significant federal dollars will have to make sure the high-quality child care is available to their workers. So parents can keep their jobs and keep good jobs. You know, by the way, those so-called fabs where they build these computer chips, you know what the average salary is going to be in the fab? $130,000. And you don't need a college education.
So does that mean you're going to get hit with the new taxes that you're bringing out?
Climate ever, anywhere. Across all these laws, we're making sure that women have access to new jobs and new contracting opportunities in sectors where they've been historically underrepresented, from manufacturing to construction to clean energy. And by the way, I'm known as America's most pro-labor senator. Well,
I'm not supposed to, he said.
As president, well, guess what? They're, in fact, increasing the number of women who are in labor unions. It's got to be. Oh, no, you think I'm kidding? I'm not kidding. Women are more than 50% of the population, to state the obvious. We want to have the strongest economy in the world. We can't leave half the workforce behind. It's that simple. And when we make major investments like these, small businesses are going to benefit as well. Last year, I went up to Syracuse, New York, where I went to school. Micron Technology, a big semiconductor chip manufacturing, is investing $100 billion to build a huge manufacturing facility, so-called megafab. Well, guess what? It's going to
guess what?
9,000 good.
It's like the 15th time you said that.
I met women there named Shawnee Davis. She studied at Syracuse University. Her dad introduced her to electrical work. He was an electrician. She joined the IBW, International Brotherhood of Electrical Workers, completed her apprenticeship, was the first black woman in the city to become a master electrician. Now she owns her own electrical business. And with Micron, And Micron making this huge investment in Central New York.
Did you say huge?
Law we passed and pushed. That means more opportunity for her company and her workers. And here's what she said. She said, I'm a small business now, but I'm not planning to stay a small business. Well, all of you in this room know that kind of determination. That entrepreneurial drive is the heart of America's spirit. And we have to be unleashing it by helping more women entrepreneurs launch their businesses and achieve their dreams. Let me close with this. During Women's History Month, we recognize the history of women entrepreneurs in America. And it stretches back centuries. But it was only 35 years ago, in 1988, that the Women's Business Ownership Act was signed into law. Before then, in many states, if a woman applied for a business loan, she needed her husband, her father, or her brother to co-sign for her. I'm not joking. When I passed the Violence Against Women Act, I eliminated that principle. You used to have to get a bank account, too. Can you imagine? Well, thanks to all of you, we're making up for lost time. And for the women, for all the women who through decades have dreamed of having their own business, making their own money, carving out the slice of independence, but couldn't because the laws wouldn't let them or they didn't have the money or family support. That's why what you're doing today, along with women across the country, is so important. You're helping America be a company where everyone can participate, where everyone's contribution is valued, and where everyone has the freedom to pursue the dreams and build the future that they dream of. That's been the promise of our nation from the start. And you're making it real for this generation and future generations. Because of you, we're going to continue our progress in the years ahead. You may have heard me say it before, but I can honestly say it without fear of contradiction. I've never been more optimistic. I mean this when I've been doing this. I know I don't look it, but I've been doing this a long time. I need one of you to help me out here. But anyway, I've been doing this a long time. But I've never been more optimistic about America's future than I am today. I mean it sincerely. We just have to remember who in the hell we are. We're the United States of America. There's nothing beyond our capacity when we set our mind to it. Nothing. So I mean it.
He's gonna get mad, they're all clapping at him. Look at that look on his face, scowling.
If I could only do one thing, what would I do? I said I'd cure cancer. They said, why is that? It's not just because cancer affects so many people. It's a big thing. And Americans began to wonder whether they could do big things anymore. Well, guess what?
Guess what?
Cure cancer. We're going to cure cancer in the next 25 years. We've just invested $5 billion more.
He said we're going to cure cancer in the next 25 years.
Grateful Nation, I want to thank you all because you're such an inspiration to so many men and women around the country. You really are. You truly are. May God bless you all, and may God protect our troops. Thank you. Thank you. Folks, I can't stay. I've got to go. But I hope you have a good conference here, and I hope you have a good round table. And there's a little thing going on around the world. Anyway, thank you so very, very much for it.
There's a little thing going on around the world. What does that mean? Okay. Oh man, Walter, he doesn't even know what he's talking about. He's up there stammering about nothing. Well, so where are we? So the next thing we're going to cover is titled Nashville Elementary School Shooting Reported to be Mass Casualty Event. Shooter is dead. This was probably over an hour ago now. It was new when I put it on the schedule. Obviously, it sounds like more details have shown up, but we'll cover this anyways. This will be the last thing for the YouTube platform, and then we will be moving to all the non-YouTube platforms to cover the rest of the live. We have one that's a Tucker Carlson video talking about how effective it is of a strategy to create crises to manipulate people. And then we have another video talking about Elon Musk reported to build a utopia worker town, and locals are all really mad about it. We'll be covering that on the free speech platforms, on all the non-YouTube platforms. But first, we're going to cover this tragedy in Nashville.
This is breaking news. This is breaking news that we are covering this hour. You're looking at Nashville, Tennessee right now. St. Paul Christian School. It's an elementary pre-K through 6th grade. And there is a mass casualty alert in Nashville being reported. Multiple victims down, school shooting there at St. Paul Christian. We want to keep you abreast of this. We do know that the accused shooter has been taken out by local police there. And as we work to do this, we can tell you that when we say multiple victims, we do believe that there are children among them. A mass casualty alert has every hospital in the area on alert to take victims from the scene. We are getting very few details in at once. But as soon as we know that there is a command post, a checkpoint where we can hear from authorities, of course, we'll take you there live. This happened just a short time ago. And as we're watching this, I want to mention, I'm reading this as I'm telling this to you. So children are among those who have been shot. No word on the state yet of their injuries. You will see places, and I always acknowledge this, where things are said to be confirmed and they have not been yet. So we are very careful in our reporting about this. There are parents, potentially family members, who are watching who may not be able to get to the school, don't know the situation with theirs. We want to be informational and not panic driven. So I'm not going to put numbers of people out until we've confirmed them here at Fox. But I can tell you that this is a mass casualty alert event. That's the reporting from the ground. The police department had said earlier, and the fire...
I'm looking at it live right now, saying it was 3 adults, 3 children killed. The shooter was a 28-year-old woman armed with 2 assault-style rifles and 1 pistol. She showed up with 2 rifles and a pistol? What? This sounds
Church is
suspicious.
Located at 2100 Woodmont Boulevard. And yes, the whole nation hears that, but specifically the people in the area who might be watching, or friends or relatives are watching, can text this to them. Go to Woodmont Baptist Church, 2100 Woodmont.
I want to say thanks to all of our partners, to the FBI, to the ADF and other federal partners, to the THP, Tennessee Highway Patrol, the TBI, the district attorney, and to the fire department, who all came together and seamlessly addressed this situation as quickly as possible. I've already gotten requests from the national media about a great response. We're still assessing that as well. But what I can say, and what I've said before, is that whenever I hope that we would never have this situation, that if we ever did, we would not wait. We would immediately go in and we would immediately engage the person perpetrating this horrible crime. And so that's all I can say. Right now we have David Rouse, director of the TBI, who will come after me to address his portion. And then we have others that will say something as well. So thank you.
Thank you, Chief.
Nanner knows, it was an elementary school.
Echo what Chief has said in reference to the great support and the great teamwork that has been taking place here, and as well as sending our heartfelt prayers to the families, to this community of these victims. Now, I know there'll be people who want to criticize us for prayers, but that's the way we do that in the South, right? We believe in prayer, and we believe in the power of prayer, and so our prayers go out to these families. The role of the TBI in this investigation is we have been asked by General Funk to assist in the officer-involved portion of this incident. So the incident where the officers engaged the suspect, we are assisting the Metro investigation, And the reason we've got Metro doing the primary investigation is because it was a fluid scene. So there wasn't a single stop in the action. And so as they investigate the homicides, then we felt it was most appropriate for them to continue that investigation. But we will assist as in our role as an independent oversight on the officer-involved situation. And so that will be the role of TBI. We, too, want to thank all of our partners. It is special. We've had this conversation, unfortunately, too many times in Tennessee, and that is that you wish you wouldn't have to do these types of scenes. But when you do, you want to have the working relationships that we have in our law enforcement community here in Tennessee. It is amazing. And we've all come together as one and working very tirelessly. And we'll continue to work together to address this situation. It's a horrible, senseless tragedy. And we will be here working with our partners to get through it. And next, I'd like to introduce the District Attorney General for this area, Glenn Funk.
This is the ultimate crime when school children and caregivers are the victims of senseless.
Good afternoon. First, let me just say, as everyone else, what a tragic day here in Nashville. So our hearts and our prayers do go out to all the family members.
Hopefully this guy will give us some facts. That's why I skipped ahead a little bit.
Made this call. As always, the fire department and Office of Emergency Management, our job is to support. And we were here at the beginning and we'll be here until the end. We just ask that everyone, again, as it was said earlier about prayer, we ask for that. And the ongoing support that's needed from our standpoint is to give support in any area that's asked for on the scene. So again, we thank you, and from this point forward, we'll just continue on with our mission and try to bring some type of closure and resolution. Thank you.
I anticipate there will be another briefing at or before 4 o'clock.
Year, all of that, but that's what I've been told so far. But unsure what year, all of that, but that's what I've been.
Identify the shooter in this case yet?
Yes, we have identified the suspect. It's a 28-year-old female white, that's actually a Nashvilleian or lives in the Nashville area. We are having ongoing investigation as it pertains to her at this time.
Located her place of where she lived.
So she is white?
We have.
Was she wearing body armor?
Was she wearing body armor? I can't say that far into the investigation. I don't remember seeing it, but I can't say for certain if she had body armor on or not.
Does she have any connection to the church?
From my initial findings is that at one point she was a student at that school, but unsure what year, all of that. But that's what I've been.
She's 28. Like, how is that really relevant?
Or has her social media been examined at this point?
The investigations are still ongoing at this point. Our federal partners, our state partners, we're all looking into that to see exactly. This is still fluid at the time, but we're looking at.
Did she say female like or female white? Because I thought you said female, comma, white.
I was told there were kids that evacuated into a wood line. They had the presence of mind to do that and to go to a fire hall. Once we were...
Hold on. Let me rewind it back and put the captions on.
To First Baptist Church, Woodmont, and that way...
Did you identify the shooter in this case yet?
There's no captions.
We have identified the suspect. It's a 28-year-old female white, that's actually a Nashvilleian.
Yeah, he said white. I think he said white.
We are having ongoing investigation as it pertains to her at this time.
Located her place of where she lived, and you have officers there?
We have.
Was she wearing body armor?
Was she wearing body armor?
Well, I don't think we're going to get any more information out of that. It's unfortunate, but it seems really suspicious. Showed up armed like that, and then they're trying to say, oh, well, possible former student at an elementary school at 28? Probably ain't been to that school in 18 years or so. Don't see how that's relevant. Showed up with 2 assault rifles and a pistol. No idea if she had body armor on. It sounds so suspicious. Well, hooligans, we are at that point of the show. Everything else I have left is for the non-YouTube platforms because of YouTube's community guidelines. And I'm just trying to follow the rules. So I'm going to post the links to Rumble, Odyssey, JeffMacLive.com, as well as the link tree. I'm going to give you guys the spiel deal. You'll have till the end of the advertisement to make your way over to the non-YouTube platforms to watch the rest of the show. Alright, I have posted the links. Make your way over to the non-YouTube platforms. I'm trying to think. I was going to say something. Oh, I seen earlier on Twitter that there was a YouTube account, a huge YouTube channel that was just demonetized because of something one of their subscribers did. And they said that YouTube told them that their connection to one of their subscribers caused them to be demonetized because of something a subscriber did. YouTube is really cracking down on people. It is unfortunate because it is hard to get people off the YouTube platform. I don't know, they're trying to MySpace themselves. With that being said, please go to JeffMacLive.com. On the homepage, you can find all of my links listed. You can find the link to join Gilded for free. Gilded is currently the best way to receive notifications for when and where we go live, every time we go live. You'll also receive notifications for important updates and things I feel you should know. There's a news board on Gilded to keep you up to date with things going on around the world. And there's a ton of hooligans in there to hang out with and chat it up pretty much about whatever you like all day, every day. So definitely join Gilded. Also on the homepage, you can find links to the merch store if you'd like to grab some merch. We have shirts, hoodies, stickers, and coffee mugs. Everything is displayed in black and white or white and black, but if you find something you like, just click on that item to see all the different colors that item comes in. You can also find links to PayPal, Cash App, Venmo, Stripe, Zelle, Buy Me a Coffee, and Locals if you would like to support what I do. There's a link to the Amazon wish list if you would like to send me stuff. It's really easy to use. Anything you purchase directly from the wish list will be sent straight to me without having to send emails, find addresses, or anything like that. It's really simple. Also, the JeffMAC Live, not the website. The birthday unboxing live that we're going to be doing, I think, is this Friday. Let me check the schedule really quick. Yes, on Friday, we're going to do the birthday unboxing with all the gifts that you hooligans sent me, so look forward to that. And then lastly, we have links to join the membership programs. We have memberships for YouTube, Gilded, Discord, Odyssey, Rumble, and Twitch. And then JeffMacLive.com itself has a membership program that'll give you access to the private social media area. You'll have your own profile. You'll be able to access the live streaming area with the built-in chat. We have an advanced messaging system. Gives you the ability to chat with other hooligans. You can call them. You can video chat them. We can do group calling, group texting, group video calls, all the good stuff. I'm planning on doing another voice chat soon. I was going to do it over the weekend, but just doing those taxes was kicking my ass. I'm still burned out from that. So there will be a a get together pretty soon. We're going to do a voice chat and all of us will hang out. It's really cool. It's a awesome way for us to have a back and forth and whatnot. And last time it lasted like 5 or 6 hours. We were having ourselves a time. So definitely join the website to be a part of that. You can claim a free week membership. No strings attached, no credit cards required. Just after the week's up, you'll just lose access to the private area. But you can find those links in the description. You can also find it at the very top of the link tree. So that's it for the spiel deal. Hopefully all of you have made your way over to the non-YouTube platforms to follow along with the rest of the show. So give me a second to help YouTube out. For everyone that watches on YouTube only, I appreciate you guys. Thank you so much for all your support. I just can't show this stuff on YouTube. I got to follow the rules.